Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Voicing Artists' Original Characters. We have a fun one we get to play with today, so we will jump right into it. The artist's name is Kako, pronouns she, her, and the character that they are letting us play with today is named Aster. Now, Aster is a girl. The reason why I'm saying this is because the first piece of History Universe backstory jazz that the artist gave me was she often gets mistaken for a boy, though she doesn't get annoyed by it. So that's why I said up front that Aster is a lady, even though the artist uses as a trait of her personality that people think she's a guy. And I can see the masculine energy in her, in the big sort of outer layer clothing that's a little bit more frumpy, and the hair that's all over the place, just right in between that length where people think is like masculine / feminine. It kind of goes down the neck a bit, got a little bit of a ponytail going on, it's a little shaggy. They seem to be a bit more muscular, which we often associate with masculinity. They have sort of a thicker build to the chin and to the body. They've got this beautiful smile, though, which I think is awesome. And they've got really pretty eyes here. And that's not to say that that makes you female or that makes you male, because nothing makes you either of those. It's just that some traits are masculine and some traits are feminine, and I think she strikes a good balance of both here, but I can see why the artist might mention that she gets mistaken for a guy because it has a bit more masculine traits involved with it. The other reason that we are making a note of this and that the artist makes a note of this is because the artist also gave me a voice note. Their voice note for Aster was androgynous. They would really like if the voice sounds a bit more neutral between masculine and feminine. So if they're giving me all of this information on, hey, she kind of looks like a dude, or at least she appears more masculine, and she maybe gives off the energy of more masculine, and people think that she's masculine presenting or male identifying, and I want the voice to be androgynous, we need to take into factor all of these notes, because if the artist thinks it's that important, then we need to think it's that important. So we're going to do our best to give sort of the androgynous voice and make it more of a mix between masculine and feminine, and we're also going to play a bit with the masculine stereotypes in her personality, and I think that will help correlate to how important the artist sees this as a factor for Aster. So the other note that the artist gave me was that she's really fun to be around. She brings out the best in people, and she can motivate them to be better versions of themselves and to do what their passions are. So they also gave me a bunch of personality traits here, so we're going to go through all of them. They said no filter. So they specified that that doesn't mean that she's mean, it just means that she says everything that's on her mind versus actually thinking about it, which we've done before, where we have some characters who go through their emotions actually thinking up words, and we have some characters who just feel. So she's a bit more of the just feeler side, which is pretty cool. She treats everyone equally. She's reckless, impulsive, energetic, not the smartest, just kind of average, bored easily, empathetic, motivates people, as we said earlier, curious, optimistic, and easily excitable. Now, all of these traits together are a lot of fun. I think impulsive speaks to that no filter idea, that and not the smartest, where she sort of acts before she thinks about whether it's a good idea to do, even if she's got the pure heart and is trying to do the right thing. I think the word reckless is really shown in these drawings here with the one with her and her headphones. She's got 2 band-aids on her cheeks. So the idea that whatever she went into caused some sort of damage, and yet she just put band-aids on them and smiled is like, okay, she was in a good place and she came from a good place, but she really was reckless and impulsive about it and just sort of went into it and got hurt by it. But she has enough of the lively energy and the loving nature to just be like, okay, bandage myself up, it's fine, no big deal, right? And that really speaks a lot to her personality, I think. She's very energetic and empathetic, which ties together well because it leads us to the idea of even when she messes something up or makes a mistake, she's always trying to do the right thing. Her motivations are empathetic. They're for other people. They are to help other people. Almost gives us very comedic, sidekick, energy, where often the good-hearted character like trips over something or is trying to help but accidentally destroys the thing and is very laughy. They're very positive. They keep a lot of the energy of the group upbeat. They make everyone smile. That's what I'm getting from these personality traits that the artist has given us. There are a few that I see from the drawings myself. Some words that I would say from these drawings are grit, guts, or bravery. And guts and bravery to me comes through in the photo where she is almost in this yelling format and she is grabbing her sunglasses and sort of pulling them off her face. And in a normal situation, I wouldn't say that that's like, bravery that we might think of it, where it's, oh, I'm fighting the villain, right? And I'm going to stand my ground. To me, that comes off more as like a gritty sort of guts, where she's like, yo, man, chill out. Like, you're being stupid. Don't do that. We're all trying to have a good time. That's sort of that bravery. It's a bravado is the word that I would use. It's sort of a, all right, chillax. She's not brave in the sense where she's taking on the monster. She's just like, guys, calm down. Don't be mean. It's no big deal. That sort of bravado where she'll speak up versus somebody who's kind of like, oh, it's fine. Just let them do whatever they want. I think the image where she has sort of all these facial expressions is also interesting because the suave one where she's almost like thinking is such a pose. It's a projection of like being smart. So that leads us a little bit to how she's a little average in intelligence because she's sort of putting on this, yes, I understand when you don't need to do that if you really understand. And I love the surprised face as well because it gives me very crazy thing just happened and she's like, whoa, dude, that's so cool, right? Like huge facial expressions, which we get a lot from the comedic characters in a show. Although I will say I love her little angry face. I think that's fun to play with, the idea that she can have sort of this instant like gruff anger. There's a bit of a bite in her snarl almost in that angry face as well. It's not just like I'm mad, it's like I'm gonna growl almost while I'm angry, which is a very subtle but very important distinction between the type of anger that she might have. I have clueless in here, and that ties in with the recklessness, not thinking before she acts. I have a little bit of rowdy. I think her hair being very scraggly and sort of the outfit almost being that way as well, especially this picture where she's pulling her hair back because she's sort of drenched in water. This gives me very like, I just jumped in the lake, all clothes on, didn't even think about it, and probably pulled someone into the lake with me. That gives me that energy, so it's very rowdy, very playful, almost like a nice and well-intentioned frat boy energy versus, the stereotype we think of frat boys where they're annoying and rude. She's like the good version of it, where she's throwing people into pools and drenching them with water and splashing, that kind of fun. The other ones I had were lovable. She's got this huge smile. She's doing like the finger gun pointers. She's got this big open mouth like, what? She's got sort of the, yeah, I'm cool one, right? All of these facial expressions are very big. They're very over the top. They give me lovable energy. They just make her presence very vivid, very loud without necessarily her having to be loud, but loud in a good way, like a big hug type of way. Like there's a big hug around you of warmth and happiness and positivity and encouragement. And so lovable is there for me. And the other one I had was energy, but in a goofball loving way. So goofball is a nickname that we often used in my family, where if you were being like silly, but a positive silly, where you're encouraging people and you're laughing about things and you're making other people smile, you're a goofball, right? Like, why would you're being so silly, goofball, terms like that. I think she gives me that energy in like an adult form where she's like, okay, yes, we're adults, but let's live life. And I really like that for Aster. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially this drawing where she's got this big smile on her face with her headphones. It gives me very like, yo, I'm glad to see you, like we can hang out. Huge smile. Love that. So with all of that said, let's go into our neutral line here. So I think our neutral line is probably going to go off of this headphones picture where she's meeting up with someone and she's glad to see them and sort of like, oh, it's good, that we're hanging out and let's go do something and how have you been? And that kind of energy. So let's go with this upbeat, joyful, comedic side energy for neutral. Let's see how it goes. Hey man, how have you been? It's Aster. Wow, I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you've been doing well. I've heard through the grapevine that you're, getting the job, getting the ladies, killing it out there. Yeah, I like that for Aster. It's very playful, very welcoming energy for someone that they maybe haven't talked to in a long time or haven't seen in a while. And it's welcoming and inviting even from somebody that you aren't necessarily close with. And I think Aster screams that kind of energy. And so I really like that for her neutral line because it automatically tells you that she's a person that you could walk up to and be like, hi, can we be friends? And she'd be like, we were already friends and I didn't even know you. So I like that for her neutral. The happy is going to be very similar. I think we go with sort of the comedic sidekick energy. Let's go a little playful. I adore the one where she's soaking wet and she looks like she just came out of a pool. And I really liked the idea that we played with where they're out some sort of party or something and she like pulled someone into the lake with her or like pushed them in and jumped after them, cannonballed after them. So I think we're going to play with that for happy. Just a pure state of joy and hanging out with all of her buds. Cannonball! Woo! Come on, man. You didn't really think I was gonna let you be in here all by yourself. We're a team. Let's go. Who's next? Who's next? Come on. Yes! Party energy. You gotta have the life of the party. You gotta have the energy. Making sure everybody's chilling. Nobody's alone. Everybody's having fun. I love that for Aster. Let's do our angry emotion. This one's gonna be interesting. What makes the comedic, happy-go-lucky one angry? Well, we were saying earlier that I think she's got a bit of bravado, a bit of guts, a little bit of grit on her. I could see her being a streetwise character and knowing a bit of how the negative, or you could call them evil, but if we're speaking in a human point of view, more of the unsavory characters act, I think she would still know about it. She just sort of chooses not to partake. So she could still hold her own in that category. She just sort of chooses not to, and I think that's where the grit comes from. So we'll use this image with the sunglasses where I was saying earlier to do sort of an energy of maybe her and some people are hanging out and they're having a good time, and some unsavory characters, maybe they know her, maybe they've heard of her, they're like, we want to do like this business, or we have something to pick with you, like a fight or something, and she's sort of being like, calm down, cool off, I don't do that jazz. Let's see if we can do that for Aster's angry. Hey, leave them alone. We're just here to have a good time, all right? Look, I don't do things like that anymore, and you shouldn't either. So I'm asking you politely to leave my beach and leave my friends alone. Ooh, interesting. It's really fun because these comedic high energy characters can often feel like they have to do that in all of their emotions. But we didn't do that for Aster's angry. We didn't go yelly, we didn't go rageful, we didn't go, I'm so mad. We actually went very quiet, very collected, very calm, very rational. So I like the idea that even though Aster's fun and lively and lovable and energetic, that she's still got at least a little bit of a head on her. Now, we did have Clueless a little bit, right? She's of average intelligence, but I think there's something to be said for wisdom versus experience and for book smarts versus street smarts. I think maybe she could be the not very good at the book style, the learning style, and still have street smarts to where she's like, all right, don't pick this fight with me, you will lose. And so I kind of like that for her. And I really like where it took us for this calm, sort of intimidating version of anger. Very interesting. Last but not least, let's do Aster's sad. So Aster loves her friends, she loves her people, she's here to help people, keep them happy and going. So what would make her sad then? I think we're going to go with the idea that her friends are hurt. Her friends are sad. And I don't necessarily mean physically. I kind of mean more on the emotional side, where they are upset. Something has happened in their lives or to them or to someone they know, and they're very upset by it. And I want to take this route for Aster's sadness, but I don't want it to be that someone has harmed the actual person that she's friends with that is sad. I don't think that person that is her friend that is sad has been harmed themselves. I think something has happened in their life that is making them really upset. And the reason why I don't want there to be an individual who's harmful in the scenario is because I think Aster's sadness comes from a real life point of someone she's close to also being sad. I think it hurts her to see people that she wants to make happy, that her only purpose in life is to walk into a room and make them smile and make their day better, just not be able to do that. To have nothing work. They're just so upset and they're so sad by what's happening that they're just in this pure state of like awful crying depression, and she just kind of has to be there and is like, I'm here and it makes me sad to see you sad. So I think that's where we're gonna go with Aster's sadness. Hey, it's okay, it's all right. Do you want a hug? I can at least give you that. Good, it's all right. We'll get through this somehow, one way or another. Yeah, that is an interesting place to draw sadness from. Aster has let us play with these emotions in such a new and unique way. A high-energy character being a calm and intimidating angry person is so different than what most characters are like and what we're used to playing with. And then to take a high-energy caring person and make their sadness come from a place of not, oh, I'm sad because you got hurt, but I'm sad simply because you are sad. That's a really unique place that comes from a truly empathetic character. A character who genuinely is like, my only purpose is for other people. They are not sad because they couldn't make them happy. They are not sad because someone else hurt them. They're just sad because you're sad. And that's a really unique place to play with that. And it comes in this weird state of just low. Everything is low. Everything is somber. Everything is cold. She's trying to smile and trying to project this everything's gonna be okay attitude, but you can hear it in her voice and you can feel it in how low the energy has gone, that they're just sort of together. You're sort of together in a moment. And when that is your pure expression of an emotion, when your pure expression of sadness is just to be in it, it's wild. We don't usually get that. So that's really cool that out of playing with Aster, our sadness became just being in sadness, just living in sadness, which is wild. So that was really cool and really a powerful experience to be able to play with here. So a big thank you to Kako for letting us play with Aster. It has been lovely and so much fun. Please, everyone, go follow her, give love to our artist, and of course, like and subscribe if you don't mind and you want to catch some more. But that is it for us today, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!